Howdy. With this video, I want to go over the career essay and the schedule a little bit, make sure we're all on the same page. I'm doing this video on Tuesday, March 2nd, the Tuesday after, March 12th, I'm sorry, the Tuesday after spring break. Just looking at the schedule, we're going to start a career essay, and basically just for today, Tuesday, we're just talking about it, thinking about it a little bit, getting back into the groove of things. I'm going to change the schedule a little bit this week. For Friday, I want to see the first paragraph or first two paragraphs of your career essay. We'll look at that here in a second. Basically, that's just telling me what specific career you're thinking about going into. Now, many of you are in certificate programs. So I assume if you're getting an HVAC certificate, you're going to go into some type of construction or HVAC installation. But kind of think about it a little farther than that. Or you want to do residential or commercial? Eventually, do you want to move up into management? Crawling around attics and crawl spaces can be a little harder as you get older, as many of you probably know. Do you want to be the guy that tells other people to get up into the attic or go into the crawl space? Does becoming management with that kind of thing require more certifications, more courses, more awareness of building codes and all that kind of stuff? Some of you might even be thinking later down the road that maybe you want to open your own shop somewhere. So trying to be as specific as you can about what career you're going into, what type of welding or what type of HVAC, or I don't know a lot about construction, which you can kind of see from the way I'm stammering a bit, but I want you to be as specific as possible. Don't just say I'm going to be a welder. There's probably different types of careers and different types of welding you can get into. So you want to try and be as specific as you can. That's kind of what I'm looking for in that first paragraph. And it might be a little rough and you're kind of thinking it through and everything, but that's fine. We'll start working on documentation of research. If you're starting to look online and looking at sources, make sure you keep track of where you're doing that, because if you use that in your essay, you're going to have to show me where you got that information from. And it's not too complicated. It's nothing different than following building codes. Some of it you think it makes sense and you just follow the codes because you have to, and some things may be stupid and you follow them because you have to, right? And that's kind of what MLA formatting is going to be like. And of course, I'm here to help. And the idea of the class is not for you to be the most perfect MLA formatting expert ever, but be functional in knowing that you have to document sources when you use them in an essay. But you do research all the time. Anytime you do a Google search, you're researching. So don't let the idea of research scare you or put you off in any way. You can do this. But you can kind of see we're going to be working on the career essay. We did the LinkedIn page first before spring break, so some of that work's out of the way, especially with the academic plan, which you're going to put in your career essay. So hopefully it's just straight up writing here. We got about 3 weeks on it. We got wiggle room with the time. We'll see how everybody's doing. But hopefully a career essay is kind of something you're kind of interested in, and you can explore different options. You may not take them or anything, but it is kind of interesting. The more education you have, the more lateral movement you kind of have. You can do other things other than one thing over and over and over. Or hopefully you can. But that's kind of the schedule. Again, we're going to move the first 1 or 2 paragraphs to Friday. We'll put that working bibliography down back to next Tuesday. I don't want to overwhelm everybody with MLA formatting right after spring break. Whoops. There we go. Looking at the essay, going to go to the career essay here. Make it big. We're going to write a 1,200 word essay. Hopefully word count's not too scary. You're already writing 800 words without any research in an essay. Sorry, I just hit my computer there. But you're going to research the job or the career you hope to obtain with your 2-year, 4-year, or certificate. Either way, whatever you're getting here. Your essay should meet the following requirements. You're going to use MLA formatting. That stands for Modern Language Association. That's just the type of documentation we're going to use. You should use a minimum of 3 sources in your essay. A couple of those I'm going to tell you where to go, so it's not going to be hours of research, on the computer or anything. Short quote, long quote, summary, paraphrase. That's what we'll start looking at this weekend. We'll try and start working with some of these punctuations a little bit. Getting kind of fancy with the writing, but that's what we do here, right? But your essay is going to have 4 major sections. The first one is just going to be the specific general description of the specific field you're going into. And of course, why you might want to work in it. When I look at the guys out here welding on the new building, I think, wow, that's a hard job. They're out there in the sleet and the snow, they're in the rain, um, getting it done. But hopefully they're making pretty good money. There's a reason they're out there doing it. But again, this first, it's hard for me to highlight here, but this first section, not gonna let me do it. All right, section one. Again, you just you want to get into the industrial side of it. Do you want to get into the residential side? Same thing if you're going to be a nurse. Do you want to? What kind of nurse do you want to be? Do you want to be an emergency room nurse, a NICU nurse, a geriatric nurse? There's all kinds of different nursing fields. Which one are you thinking about going into, and which one are you going to research for this essay? The second section is where you're going to start talking about the requirements for the job. Many of you getting here getting certificates or getting your degrees because that's required for the job, right? You can't get in the door without that certificate or whatever. And kind of go through all the different certifications you might need for it. If you're thinking about going into management, do you need additional certifications, particularly with building codes or whatever? They have to have certain physical abilities. Like I said, these welders out here working on the building, they got to be some fairly strong guys out there, and women if they're out there. You have to have certain personality traits to work in construction or nursing or whatever. Nursing is one of those careers where you got to be able to lift people and stay on your feet for 12-hour shifts. You got to be fairly physically healthy to pursue that field. A lot of you have already been in the field for a while, so you'll be able to kind of talk about this with some authority yourself. But you also want to make sure you're doing some research and making sure you see, what you think is true is actually true out there. Within that second section, you're going to list that academic plan. Now it's a listing of classes semester by semester until you get your certificate or your degree there. So that's hopefully that's already done. You just copy and paste that into section 2 there. Third section is going to talk about the career path, the salary hopefully you're going to be making, the job opportunities. If you have to stay in the Tri-Cities areas, particularly like if you have a family and they don't want to move, other local job opportunities available to you. If there's not, do you mind moving and going national or international to employ your skills? Some areas in the world are desperate for nurses, and they'll pay good money for you to excuse me, for you to come over and help them out. Of course, you got to go to another country, and you might have to leave your family behind and stuff. So it's good and bad there. But what kind of opportunities are out there? Is there upward mobility? Like some of these guys out there welding on the building, I'm kind of obsessing about that, but they're right outside where I can see them. Probably some of those are thinking, I'm getting a little old for this. I need to find a way to move up or might work my way into management or a supervisory role. Is that possible with the certificate and the education you're pursuing, or we have to go to get more education? But you want to kind of see the possible career paths. You're going to go to that government site, and they'll show you whether the job is growing or declining. If you're going to go for your English degree and open your grammar shop in downtown Kingsport, you might have some problems. That's kind of what my degree would push me to, either that or teaching. And not a lot of upward mobility once you get to a certain level with teaching. So unless you want to go into again management or administration. So kind of just examining, once you get this certificate or your 2-year degree or whatever, what opportunity does this help you become more mobile, or you have to keep, pursuing education so you can do that. Again, that's assuming you want to do that. Some people just like working certain jobs, and there's nothing wrong with that. The last section is going to talk about your suitability for the job. I want you to discuss 3 good things, 3 bad things. Every job has its downsides. Hopefully, most jobs have their good sides as well. The kinds of stress. I bet they're pretty stressed out there when it snows on that metal trying to weld. Is there a lot of turnover in the field? If there is a lot of turnover, why is that? Why are people getting out? About half of all teachers quit teaching within 5 years. That's a lot of energy to get that teaching degree and just to only use it for 5 years and get burned out on a job with a high turnover rate. That's not something you want to watch out for. Something you want to address now, not after you get your degree. Are the professional organizations you should be joining, or student clubs you could be involved in? Volunteering, internship. Again, if you've been in the business for 20, 30 years, you may not need that. If you're just starting out and you want to be a nurse, can you prove you've ever even been in a hospital? Can you do volunteer work at the hospital and get yourself involved in that environment and make contacts? And once you get your degree, hopefully, kind of maybe have a job lined up when you get out in some way. But those are the four major sections. Of course, at the end, you want to discuss whether the career path is right for you. Some of you have already been in doing what you've been doing, and that's fine. So you're going to say like, well, yeah, this is I've been doing this for 20 years, and I'm ready to do what I'm going to do with my certificate. Some of you are younger and just starting out. Uh, but hopefully, you're kind of researching, kind of saying, okay, this is what I kind of expected, and the research confirms what I'm thinking, and this is a career I want to go into. So kind of hopefully an essay based on self-interest. We're going to introduce documentation. Again, it's not something to be scared of. I'm here to help you with that. Well, hopefully, again, it's like following building codes or medical procedures. You got to do the process correctly, or you might run into a little trouble there. But that's what the essay is looking like. Again, for Friday, just looking for that first paragraph here for the first section. Just tell me, kind of introduce me to the specific field you're trying to get into, kind of in one good paragraph, and why you want to go into that particular field. Then we'll start building the essay from there after Friday, particularly with starting to use the research in the essay. But oops, I didn't quite do this the way I wanted to. But anyway, but that's kind of what we're doing for the next 3 weeks. It takes a little time. It's a longer essay. You're doing different sections, but the nice thing is we're kind of chunking it into these different sections. You can work on section 3 before you work on section 2 if you want to. But if you have questions about it, be sure to let me know. But looking forward to seeing everybody's first paragraph on Friday and getting back into the writing. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.